Hi there, this is Mark Harris. I know you've anxiously been awaiting your turn to watch this module on correcting dangling modifiers. Well, here we go. First of all, we all know that, well, you may not all know what a dangling modifier is, but we know they're no good. So let me see if I can explain this to you. Sometimes you'll write a sentence and you'll modify something in that sentence with a word or a phrase, but it could be confusing if you're modifying one of two subjects or objects, nouns if you will, in the sentence. When it becomes unclear like that, we call it a dangling modifier. Let's see if I can give you an example here. This sentence: after centuries of lying on the ocean floor, the treasure hunters found the Spanish galleon. Well, exactly who was lying on that ocean floor? I hope it wasn't our treasure hunters, because apparently whoever was lying on that ocean floor was there for centuries. Logically, of course, we know it's the Spanish galleon. But if you just read the sentence, it's unclear. So, we want to rewrite that sentence so that it is clear who was lying on the ocean floor. Here is one way to do it. We take the treasure hunters and move them to the beginning of the sentence. Now, treasure hunters are the true subject of the sentence. They're the ones doing the finding. So, if we put them next to the verb there, it's going to clear it right up. The treasure hunters found the Spanish galleon after it lay for centuries on the ocean floor. It, the pronoun it, makes it also clear that it is a Spanish galleon, not people, treasure hunters, lying on the floor, the ocean floor. All right, let's review what we did. We identified the dangling modifier, the thing causing the confusion, and then we made a decision on how to make that sentence clearer. Let's try it with this sentence here. Watching carefully for hours, the flock of butterflies never arrived. Well, who is watching carefully for hours? We've only got butterflies mentioned in the rest of the sentence. There is an implied subject here. The implied subject is the person speaking, or I. I watched for hours. In this case, I added a word though in there, and I said, though I watched carefully for hours, the flock of butterflies never arrived. So you can see how we identified it, then decided how best to clarify it and remove that dangling modifier. Here's one more. Working hard all afternoon in the kitchen, the cake I baked tasted terrible. But once again, logically, you know I am doing the baking here. But if you read the sentence, that's not clear. It could be the cake who was working hard in the afternoon. There's a couple ways you can fix this. We can move I to the beginning of the sentence, put it next to the verb. I worked hard all afternoon in the kitchen. But that didn't stop the cake I baked from tasting terrible. That's clear now. We know who was working all afternoon in the kitchen. I. Because we come out and we just say it. It's clear. But you don't always have to move the subject to the beginning of the sentence. You could say, even after working hard all afternoon in the kitchen, I baked a terrible tasting cake. So once again, we did put the subject, I, next to the verb, baked. Now it's clear. Now we know who did it. All right, now that I've explained how this assignment is to be done, you'll be identifying the dangling modifier and then deciding how best to clarify who is being modified. And generally that's going to be by putting the subject next to the verb in some fashion so that it's very clear. I want you to go ahead and start on the worksheet and get that turned in to me by this Friday. And thank you very much for watching this video module, and I'll see you on the other side.